Welcome to the Business of Black Business, a talk show that interviews Black entrepreneurs and advocates for Black businesses. The topics of conversation include access to capital, best business practices, success stories, and more. Now introducing our host, Jay Reynolds.
Hello, my name is Jay Reynolds, and welcome to another installment of the Business of Black Business. Again, my name is Jay Reynolds. I own Wolf Creek Consulting. We are a top-rated executive staffing firm with offices in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Birmingham, Alabama, and West Palm Beach, Florida. We primarily place professionals in finance, accounting, IT, engineering, and administrative functions. This is a show that's designed specifically to help Black entrepreneurs and would-be Black entrepreneurs navigate the sometimes difficult process of starting and growing a business. It's a unique opportunity to gain access to hear directly from business owners and support people to find out how they did it, how they were able to crack that code, how they were able to become successful, to hear from them, by them. I like to also say that, it's kind of like being in the room where it happens. So before we get started, I got to pay the bills first. Let's thank our sponsors. The very first sponsor is Demesman and Dover Injury Attorneys, the Florida Lottery, and Career Source South Florida. We certainly could not do this without you guys, and I thank you very much for putting your support behind this show and making it important. So. Okay. All right. Today we have the opportunity to interview Shameeka Brooks, a self-made millionaire marketer. And I got to tell you, quite frankly, I've been looking forward to this because she has such a unique story. And for me, I am always interested in stories about people that have created something from nothing, right? Somebody who basically had an idea, a concept, and committed to the grind to make it happen. You have a really interesting story, and it's a story that coming out of a corporate job before I started my job, owning my own business, supply and demand, right? Supply and demands. Supply, you create the demand, and you make things happen. So you have a really, really unique story, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with everybody. So, with that being said, I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are. Where did you grow up? Who are your influencers? Why are you the person you are today?
So, hey Jay, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm very, very excited. And I'm very excited to share my story with the world. And it's going to definitely change a lot of minds, spirits, hearts. And you will definitely leave motivated and inspired because God really changed my entire life. So I am 39 years old. I am a mother of three. My oldest is 20, who also
Wow.
has a 10-month-old baby. So I am a glam mom, and my nickname is Gigi for him. He's so amazing. I know I don't look like a grandmother, but I am one, and I
Not at
am a
all.
very proud one. But we'll get into that later because I wasn't when I first found out. Because I personally was a young teen parent. I had my oldest daughter at the age of 18. My mother and father are from Jamaica, so I come from a third world country. I used to live in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. It's very, very cool. Citily a brotherly love. And then I transitioned and moved to South Florida, Miami,
Mhm.
because my mother, she got very, very sick and she needed to get out of the cold. So when we left, I came to Miami, no friends, no nothing. I left my one best friend back in Philadelphia, who her name is Brittany, and I was here by myself.
Wow.
And I have a high school diploma. I did not go to college. And I found myself when I moved to Miami. I went to what is it? Like one of those companies that place you with jobs. I went there because
A staffing firm.
exactly. I was waiting for you. That's
Executive
why I was
staff.
giving you the
I know
clue.
one of those.
I was giving, the hint, like, what do you call those? And that's you. So I went to a staffing firm and they found me great jobs. A lot of them I didn't qualify for because in South Florida at the time, you definitely need to be bilingual to get decent pay. So I ended up working for hotels, doing banquet servicing. I worked at Freightliner Trucking Company as a receptionist. And then I bounced around and bounced around. And in this time of bouncing around, my mom, she got sick. She needed open heart surgery,
Oh,
and
wow.
it really devastated me. And I found a job at Brandsmart USA. I'm sure you probably heard of it. And I worked there for 10 years. And while working there for 10 years, I really struggled a lot. And I always keep this photo right here. So I want you guys to see it. This is me driving to work on a bench on my car because I couldn't even afford to fix my car seat, but I needed to be able to go back to work to struggle. If I didn't even have that job, I wouldn't be able to make sure I'm paying my water bill. The electricity was getting cut off every other month. I had to
Mm,
make a choice to pay either my mortgage or pay my car payment. I reluctantly chose to pay the car payment because I still need to get there. The home, I know they wouldn't be able to put me out right away. So my home went into foreclosure. Like, I mean, I really had a
wow.
rough time in my
Wow.
life. And during the midst of this, I was overweight. I had bad skin. So I wasn't able to cultivate a lot of
Hmm.
friendships because I didn't feel worthy enough. I was always the overweight friend. I was always the one who I didn't have enough money. Like the clothes that I'm wearing in the photo that I just showed you was from the Salvation Army. I shop there all the time on Wednesdays. It's 50% off because that's the day where I can get it the cheapest. And I just lived my life like that. And working at BrandSmart for 10 years, basically I got fired 10 years later, and I had nothing. And I was very, very angry because I applied for, what is it? The workman's comp or whatever they give you.
Hmm.
It was so bad, I don't even want to remember. But I
Wow.
applied for it. They denied me, and I just really built up a vengeance. And I said, I will never work for somebody else to do this to me. Like, they know I have children, they know I have to take care of my mom, and I have no job now. And that's led me into my entrepreneurship world.
And we're going to talk. That's where I want to head from right now. That is an amazing, very interesting story about motivation, right? Why we do the things we do. Why do we do those things sometimes out of necessity, right? It being the mother of invention. So it sounds like there was a fair amount of things in your life that propelled you to do the things that you did purely based on necessity. So let's talk about that. An amazing story. What gave you the courage to become an entrepreneur? Tell us about that. Tell us how you built the business in the very beginning, and because I want entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs to be able to tap inside your mind, your psyche a little bit to understand why you did that and how you went about it.
Yes. So the first thing I do want to say is my story definitely entails a lot of struggle, but I want you to know you don't have to struggle in this magnitude to become an entrepreneur. Most people feel like that in this day and age. You just have to have the will to be able to be a blessing to someone else. You have to help. You have to be a problem solver, and then you be a great entrepreneur. So how did I get started? Like I was just saying, I worked at BrandSmart USA for 10 years, and they literally fired me out the blue, but I was living literally check to check. So
Hmm.
as soon as I got my check, it literally just passed over my hand and it was gone. Like I did not have a savings account whatsoever. I got fired in February of 2013, and I literally took $50 out of my next paycheck, which was the last one. So it came 2 weeks after I got fired. And it was unemployment that I filed for because I said, okay, I'm not going
Hmm.
to get my check until 2 weeks. Let me file for unemployment. And I got denied. So when I got that, I said, you know what? There's no way I can start this business with a lot of money. I don't have it, but I have to do something. So literally what I did was I went to Go Jane because I didn't have the business license at the time to go to a wholesaler. I went to
Hmm.
Go Jane. I didn't go to Forever 21 because everyone who looks like me shops at Forever 21. So I said, let me
Hmm.
go to Go Jane because they're not up on Go Jane. I bought literally 5 rings for $50. I still have the receipt to this day, like framed up, is downstairs. And I said, I'm going to make this happen. So I brought the rings and I said, you know what? Where can I go to flip this? Because my electric is due right now. Okay. I don't have time to think about being the best person. I don't have a sales pitch. I don't have any of that. My kids need to be in AC. they need to be able to watch TV. They need light. We need heat because everything is ran by electricity in the home, except for the stove that was gas. And I took those rings and I went to the strip club. I said, I know strippers have money. And I'm gonna go to the day shift where they can pay me some attention because the night shift, they're
They're
worried and
busy.
focused.
Yeah.
They're too busy. So I went to the day shift and let me tell you, Jay, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was able to sell those 5 rings and I doubled my money. I brought them for $10 each and I sold each one for $20. So I came home, I went right back to Go Jay, I ordered some more. And I kept redoing the same thing right in the strip clubs, selling my jewelry. And at I want to say maybe like the 3rd week in February, I said, okay, I got the courage now. Let me make a website. The website that I chose was Store Envy because it was free. Because again,
Okay.
I didn't have money
Right.
to make a Wix or
Right.
get someone to make a website. Like I didn't have time for that because I
Right.
have bills that are due. So I went to Store Envy. I took photos. I got a white sheet of paper and I didn't even have a ring light. So I just went outside. I took the photos in the sun so they could see it. And I would get my nails done and I would take pictures like this with my hand. I had a Samsung at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? If this is for me, God is going to make it happen. Till this day, Jay, my very first customer is from Orlando, Florida. Her name is I'm Nike. And that's her name on Instagram because I promoted on Instagram, my website. I didn't use any other platform. She brought that ring and she gave me the courage to work any business. I made $20 because I told you I sold them for 20. And maybe 3 or 4 years later, I even went to her wedding because I'm so grateful for her.
Wow.
She
Wow.
gave me the courage to say, boss lady, you can do this. You don't need to be the smartest in the book. You just need to be hungry enough and be willing enough to put in the time and the work to work your business. So I said, if I made 20, I can make 200. And if I can make 200, I can make 2,000. My very first month of being an entrepreneur, which was February 2013, online, I made $183. Most people would be dissatisfied. But with me, my mother always taught me you have to be grateful with everything that comes your way. And gratefulness is a mindset of mine. So I was grateful for the $183. I was able to go out there. I was able to pay my electric from selling the rings in the strip club. And I was able to pay my cable bill. So I was very, very excited. And the next month, I doubled up. I made $300 and something. And then my 3rd month, I came into a different business venture, which is my shapewear. And I've always used it working at BrandSmart because, I was selling TVs at the time and I was the only female. And if you look better, the men are going to buy TVs from you. So I wanted they don't really care about the knowledge. If you look good, we'll send you something. So we'll buy the TV from you. So I put on the shapewear to help my stomach because it was very, very big. Like I was telling you, I've always had an issue with my weight. And it was like I was watching Instagram. And here's the deal. You can get motivated by a lot of things that you see on social media. It is very important that, you follow the right people who can inspire you.
Right.
So I got the idea from another young lady who I saw who was selling shapewear. And I was like, man, if she's selling this, I can do this too.
And you know what? Let me interrupt you for 1 second because I really kind of want to understand that. So you said, okay, I got the rings and that's taken off. I can do that. You said, okay, I got this idea from the Instagram person, shapewear, I can do that. How did you start to layer this stuff to the point in time when you're saying, hey, look, I'm going to make this a career of mine. I'm going to do this. I've created this momentum. Now I'm going to layer it. Kind of walk us through that.
So I didn't realize what you just asked me until the next year.
Okay.
The very first year, my only goal was to be able to pay my bills.
It
wasn't for a career purpose. I just know I didn't want my children in the dark. I wanted to make sure they had food on the table. And I just did not want to go back to a 9-to-5 job. So I didn't want to look like a failure because now I'm posting about selling things. But then if I'm going back to a job, that means I failed. It didn't work. I didn't want to do both. So I put all my energy into that. So fast forward, how did I realize that I wanted to make this a career? January 2014. I said, man, you know what? I made 5 figures selling
Hmm.
my rings and selling the jewelry. And then 2014 comes around. And February of 2014, you talking about 1 year later, after making $183, I made in 28 days, I made $104,000 selling shapewear.
Wow. Wow.
1 year later. And I'm talking about, I'm an introvert. I did not have any paid ads. I didn't have any friends to post for me. I don't have any celebrity friends. I wasn't on anyone's platform. No one knew me. All I did was share my truth, walk in my authenticity. And it's like people just gravitated to me. I had so many orders that, I mean, I got cussed out a lot. Where's my stuff? Because they were so excited. But
Right.
I was really a one woman band, and I'm still a one
Wow.
woman band until recently, and we'll get into that later on. But that's what really, I said 100,000 in 28 days, not even a whole month. I've never even thought this was possible.
So I want to talk about that because, and it's okay to say you're a millionaire. We know you're a millionaire, and it's okay. And I want you to thump your chest about it because some people are very, let's call it, shy about it
Well,
or
I wasn't a
reserved about it.
millionaire then, not in
Yeah,
20.
I know, but I'm talking about now. I'm talking
Yes.
about now because I want to know how you kept that ball rolling. How you got to the point in time when you built this thing to the point in time when you layered it, and what was your vision about that? When did you say, hey, look, um, if I made 108,000, I can make 200,000, 500,000, a million, and kind of walk us through that mentality, because one of the things that I find with black business owners, is that in many cases we stop when we get to a point in time when we have a well-paying job, right? You have a well-paying job and life is good. You're paying all your bills, the ends meet. You got the car you want, you got the vacation you want, and you stop.
Yes, you get
You
comfortable.
didn't do that, right?
No, no.
So walk us through that mentality so that we understand what happened. I think it would be important to share that mentality with people.
So my mindset every day, I wake up like I have nothing, because you can lose it all.
The lion and the gazelle story.
Yes, I literally wake up every day,
Yeah.
and it keeps so. Let me tell you the truth, Jay. You see,
Sure.
2014 was my year of, oh man, I'm the best. I was very cocky because I came from nothing and then went to having a lot very fast.
Yeah.
So I lacked, when I say there was no humility whatsoever. So that was my year of just splurging, thinking I'm the best, I'm untouchable. And what happened to me was, again, it's like January every year is an epiphany. January 2015, I got to pay taxes, and I'm looking at my bank account and it needs resurrection because I made all this money and now I don't have any.
You spent it all. Yeah, I
I
hear you.
spent it all
Yeah.
because I didn't have the proper guidance. I did not have an environment because I was doing this all alone. So I didn't know. I didn't know to pay my taxes every quarter. I
Mhm.
didn't know that EIN really meant something when I
Yeah.
signed up for my business license.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me.
If you're not tracking your money, Uncle Sam's tracking that money for you.
For sure. And he
Yeah.
wants his piece,
Yes,
for sure.
exactly.
So that's what happened to me. So 2015 is, I had a revelation with God, and I'm a numbers girl. As I was telling you earlier, 7 is my favorite number, but number 8 means new beginnings. So the year 2015 is the number 8 when you sum it all up. And I told God, I said, you know what? If you give me one more chance, I don't want to go back to poor because I felt it and I felt having money. I like that feeling. I don't want to do that, you know?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I said this time around, I'm definitely going to be very humble. I'm going to be a woman who gives back to her community. I'm going to be a woman who is an advocate for Black businesses, small businesses, because I am a small business who is doing big things. That's how I look at it. And I said, I'm always going to mention your name first. So I continue to doing my shapewear, and fast forward July 2015, I was able to purchase my home cash. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted to get out of the hood. Like before, I had a vehicle that cost more than my home. I had a gun put out on me in front of my home to get robbed. Like a lot has transpired in that time. And I said, you know what? This is something that needs to be taught to the world,
Yeah.
because it is
Yeah.
definitely possible for all of us. But having that mindset, it's really the hunger, but humility has to be attached to it.
Right. Right.
I think
And you
that
know,
is
the
the
cool
key.
thing about what you're saying is that what I liked about what you said most is the fact that you have gone through something that you believe that you should share.
Oh,
You should
absolutely.
share just so that when somebody else is going through this, they can use it as a kind of a benchmark, if you would, to say, hey, look, she did that. I need to make sure that I avoid that. Okay.
Exactly.
Because Boss Lady said, hey, look, this is what happened to me. 2015 was 14, 15 were kind of tough years for me. But if I pay my taxes, I might avoid that. You know what I'm saying? Which means that you're kind of laying yourself bare here for a second. I really appreciate you doing that because that means that you are committed to helping the person behind you. So I really appreciate that.
No,
So
absolutely.
go ahead. Go ahead. You're about to say something. I cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, I was saying absolutely. You're 100% correct. I'm that woman who I always say I represent the underdogs because when you become a millionaire, there's not too many, and I'm a multimillionaire. It's not too many that's reachable because
Yeah.
when they change their environment and then all their friends are multimillionaires and that's who they speak to. But me, I do both. I have that group and that environment that continuously pushes me so that I can continue to elevate my mindset
Hmm.
and my life. But I also understand that I don't want to be up here just with them. I want to reach back and help someone else who was like me. If I would have had someone like me, I wouldn't have had those issues. I could have
Right.
skipped a lot of the lessons that I had to experience, and I could have just had a cheat sheet.
Yeah. Don't we wish we all had that? I
Yes.
started my business like 20 years ago. I wish I had a cheat sheet. Uh, Question for you. I love the idea about the taxes, the adversity that you had to overcome. Give me another example of some adversity that you faced, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, because we all have it. I mean, I own my own business, and God knows we travel in cycles, right? So give me an example of another thing that you had to overcome. What the
Wow.
situation was and how you overcame it.
So honestly, I have two adversities recently. So one a year ago, well, maybe 2 years ago was that, I gave birth to my third daughter. She's now
Okay.
2. But at the age of 1 month, I had to make a decision of do I want to stay in my marriage? We were together for 17 years. And it was very difficult to deal with because it was more so I am never comfortable regardless of
Hmm.
what I have.
Hmm.
And I felt like I was just being held back. Like I need you to just stay like this. You're a wife, you're a mom, just stay in this role. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel like I could grow. I was like
Okay.
held captive. So I had to make that decision of number one, I was lying on social media. The captions that I would post about my relationship, people thought that that's what my relationship was. It was really what I was trying to
Hmm.
manifest.
Got it.
Wanted
Got
that
it.
to happen, you know? And it was like, do I walk away? And the only thing that kept me there was that I didn't want social media to say she's not powerful because she's no longer in a relationship.
Right.
And
Right.
when they see a woman who's single, but you're making a lot of money, what's the issue why you're not with somebody? Or why did that deteriorate after such a long time? So I had to overcome not worrying about what society thought about me, but realizing how am I feeling when I wake up every morning.
Well, I got to tell you, that's a show in and of itself.
I know, right?
Perceptions and perceptions and reality. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. There's nothing wrong. And you and I talked about that a little bit backstage. I was raised by a strong Black woman who charted her own path. Let me just say that, and did it really, really well. So that's a show in and of itself. But talk to me a little bit about your growth plan. Where do you head from there? What's the
Oh,
vision?
you literally took the word because this is the second thing. Remember, I told you it was two.
Sure, sure.
So the second part of an adversity that I had, I was because of everything that I've been through in my life, I was very
Okay.
angry. I had a lot of pain. I have never, ever in my life done personal development. I don't read books of any sort. And January, again, January, it's like a New
Mhm.
Year's resolution type of thing. January 2020, I decided that I needed to grow. I
Very
needed to
cool.
work on myself. I needed a self care regimen. I needed personal development. And it changed my entire life. And at that moment, I realized that, me and my oldest daughter, we didn't have the connection and bond because she literally was representation of a lot of the pain that I have been through in my
Wow.
life. Like
Yeah.
each child, each daughter, I have three daughters, every last one of them represent my growth or lack of in my life.
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow, that's pretty interesting. So you have these milestones and in these mile markers, if you would, or of your children, with your children. That's a really interesting comment. Um, all right, something that you talked about that's near and dear to my heart, right? We got to talk about it. You mentioned about giving back to the community. Big for me, very important for me. Give me some examples of things that you're doing right now to give back to small businesses or give back to the business community, or doesn't necessarily have to be business community, but to people in general. Talk to me a little bit about that. Why it's important and how are you getting it done?
Yes, so I do a couple things to make sure that I give back. So first, I want to say maybe around from 2015 to 2019, I
Hmm.
did free promotion for Black businesses, small businesses every Monday,
Cool.
because I do have influence on social media, and a lot of people charge for that. But I understood where I came from in life. I didn't have money to pay for that. So I offer my services for free so that they can get promotions. I've made, when I say a lot of people, a lot of money, and they didn't have to do anything but just send the product and I post it and I take care of them. I do
Wow.
Money
That's
Mondays, which,
huge. That's huge. For
yeah,
especially if it's a new product and somebody's got an idea and you're using your platform. Good for you. That's huge.
absolutely. I believe in that 100%. And even up to this day, like I'm actually filming for a show. It is very important for me to wear something that is coming from a small business. Like I have to intertwine that as well so that they can get some shine. Like I just had like I was telling you, I flew down a young lady from New Orleans for a transformation. I immediately called my friend who is a boutique owner here in South Florida. I
Hmm.
want you to come and bring your clothing so that you can have some shine on here, because it's about giving back. Who else can I reach back and help to come up with me? And so I do Money Mondays where I'll send
Okay.
cash
I like
apps.
that. I like that.
Yes, I do it.
Yeah.
I have a nice banner. I actually posted it today. It's on my Instagram and it's called Money Mondays the Boss Lady Way. I'm an advocate for giving back. So all they have to do is put their Cash App name, put their story there, and whatever story touches my heart, I'll just send them a random Cash App.
Wow. How cool is that? Hey, you're doing all the things that I
Yeah.
think that are important to be done. I mean, for
Yes.
people that I say all the time, we as people that have relative success have to be able to reach back with our dominant hand and pull somebody behind us. And so I
Absolutely.
applaud you from doing that,
Yes.
for doing that.
Yes. I
Okay.
also do this too because I do a lot.
Okay.
So
I know you do. And I want to give you the opportunity to tell me those things too.
yes. So
Go
I
ahead.
also do every Christmas I choose, again I make a post and I choose 7 women who are single moms and I take them on shopping sprees every Christmas.
Cool.
Yes.
Very nice. Tell me about what I want. What tell me? Give me some projects that you're working on right now. I want to give you the opportunity to be able to share that, and then I have a couple of other questions that I want to ask you, and then I'm because I don't want to not. I really appreciate you spending the time. I know you wear a lot of hats. You're filming a show and you're taking the time to do this when you should be filming, so I really appreciate it. But tell me some of the projects you're working on right now.
So right now, as you said, one, I'm working on a TV show with my amazing coach mentor. Her name is Stormy Wellington. So I am doing that. And it's about network marketing. I can't tell you anymore because I got to hold in the juice. I'm also working on my life book. So I'm just writing down my everyday things that go on in my everyday life so that I can put out my memoir eventually. Hopefully the end of 2022 I'll be able to do that so people will be able to start 2023 with a bang. I am also working on taking my seminars, which is called Foundation to Elevation, from the virtual world to taking it worldwide physically. So I want to do that in
Hmm.
2022 because it's, for me, I am a health coach. I'm working on When I say health coach, meaning I want to help you with your spiritual health, your
Mm-hmm.
mental health, your physical health, and your financial health. And all four combined is how you can really have real freedom in this world.
Right. Long term.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Uh, Leave us with give me 3 points of light, 3 things, secret sauce, right, that you can actually leave with entrepreneurs, would-be entrepreneurs, or just people that are watching the show.
Mhm.
Leave us with 3 things that you think would be important for them to remember.
For me, three things that will be very transformational is number one, you can't give up no matter what. It doesn't matter what distraction happens in your life, no matter the hindrances, you have to never give up no matter what.
Never, never, never quit.
Never. The second thing I would definitely tell, because we do live in a digital world, we're on social media, I would tell you to absolutely unfollow anyone who does not inspire you in any form or fashion.
That's interesting. That's good. Yeah. Don't let
Yes.
anybody bring you down. You know what?
No.
That's actually really good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. And the
Like,
third one I would say is keep your mornings for yourself. Don't speak to anybody on the phone. Nobody. Pray, meditate, exercise, have your self care routine, because you can speak to someone and their energy is off and they will bring your whole entire day down. So for me, I don't speak to anybody until noon.
well, when I grow up and become a man, I'll do that. But I'm on the phone at 8. But
But you might get up at 4 in the morning. So
yeah. You got it. I got to get started earlier. But hey, I got to tell you, I really have really enjoyed this conversation, Shameeka. I think that your story is amazing. I think you're amazing. Uh, Continued success. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving back because it's important. It's important to all of us. Now, before I let you go, I got to do a couple of things, a little housekeeping things. First of all, I need to thank the sponsors again. Um, Demesman and Dover Injury Attorneys. Victor, thanks for all you do and your team. Thanks for your support of Black businesses as well as Black education. The Florida Lottery, and finally the Career Source South Florida. I like to read off each week jobs that Career Source South Florida actually has posted on their website. They change these jobs every week. Please do go to the website and check out some of these jobs. It may be life changing for you. There's an interior projects manager position, $36 an hour. A facilities coordinator position, $31 an hour. A nursing supervisor, $27 an hour. A, clinical nurse, staff nurse, $27 an hour. Environmental tech, 25. Technical recruiter, 20. A custom trade coordinator, 20. Automotive body and related repairs, $19 an hour. Equipment operator for $18 an hour, and overnight baker for $17 an hour. All of these jobs you can find on Career Source Broward's website, and they change them each and every week, just like clockwork. Again, I got to tell you, Shameeka, thank you very much for your time today. This was great, and I think that your story is inspiring. And look forward to kind of like keep in touch with you, to keeping tabs on you in terms of finding out what you're doing. I'll try to follow you and see what you got going on. Another thing that you can do for us, you have like 250,000 followers. Don't forget to post this thing, our show on your website. Maybe we'll pick up some momentum based on that.
absolutely. Of course. Of course.
I know. Hey, I got it. Shameless plug. Don't mind doing it. But I like to say thank you very much again for your time. Thank you, Legacy Magazine, for doing this. Thank you, Aaliyah. You guys are amazing. Thanks for making this important.
Yes.
I always say, hey, look, if it is to be, it is up to me, and it's up to people like you, Shameeka. So thank you very much, guys. And that's it for another installment of The Business of Black Business. My name is Jay Reynolds. I own Wolf Creek Consulting. We're an executive staffing firm, top-rated executive staffing firm, finance, accounting, and IT engineering. If we can be a resource to you, I'd love to. And again, Boss Lady, it was amazing. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much, Shay, for having me. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Ab- Absolutely. Take care now.
All
Thanks,
right. Bye
Aaliyah.
bye.